The assignment for Friday night is that you use the search strategy that you get. And I have to mention, I'm not sure that I did. It doesn't have to just be the search strategy that you get out of AI. You can develop the search strategy to be more complete, right? Because again, it has limits. It's giving you 5 for each term, but maybe there's many more ways to say the same thing. And you want to do the best, you want to capture the best papers, right? You want to capture the best papers, so you're going to make a broad um, nets, right? You're gonna launch a broad net, a big net, wide nets to catch them and review them. And so remembering that in this sort of search strategy, I am sharing the Excel, right? In this search strategy, you're only getting 5 ways of saying the same thing, but there could be 20 ways of saying the same thing. Or if the way that you would like to say financial literacy isn't there, add it in. And then as you're searching for papers, you're going to see that there's different terminology that's not being included. Okay, so don't just stick with the 5 that you're getting from your AI tool. It's limiting. I'll know that you use just the 5 from AI because that's what you're going to get. Okay, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways of saying the same thing. In particular, like youth. Okay, so they did use youth. This is pretty good. Young adults, youth, millennials, Gen Z, 18 to 35, emerging adults. Maybe there's another way to say that, and you can ask. You say, give me 7 ways of saying the same thing, or synonyms. Okay. So you're going to pick the 10 that will best be used for your research on this topic that you've chosen. If you want to change your topic, this is the week to do it. If you start changing your topic next week, I'm not going to be happy, right? We need to use the remaining four or 5 weeks to wrap it up, actually do the analysis. So if you need to see me about your topic, please make an appointment. I have an appointment already for Friday, and I think my next appointments could be Monday. Okay, so if you need some help, let me know. I won't have time today or tomorrow for the appointments though. So yeah, if you're desperate, let me know. Maybe I'll squeeze in some time. And so you're going to list them here, and those are only 10. You're not going to use just 10 for your paper, and you might not even use these 10, but they're just to complete this assignment to demonstrate that you understand the process of extracting relevant information that you're going to use to compare across papers to look for patterns of findings. Okay. Remembering here, you're going to put the search strategy that you use, but if you improved it after you read a few papers, you can put like this one, I'll say is the same search strategy. So I'll say number 1, but then maybe I change it by the 3rd or the 4th paper and I put my new search strategy in there. Remember to expand the rows to fit it so I can see it. All right, so that's that. Okay. All right, so for today, I'm going to ask, let me see, I have an actual list here. Everyone's doing the time stamping is doing a great job. Thank you. Alexander, is he here? I thought him for a bit. Is he here? He left, I think. Okay, so it could be So Robert, you're going to be my timestamper. Okay, you're going to put the timestamps, just the times when I said, you're going to include the time and what I said when I'm changing themes or topics or said something important that the students need to review. And Robert, can you do that right now? Or are you doing something else?
Yes, I can.
You can? Okay, good.
Yes, no problem.
Okay. And Noelia, you're going to be my translator if I need it. Okay? Count on you. So you have no questions about the assignment. Let's do, Andrea, you have a question?
Yes, in case that I have like I take a paper from I selected a paper and I take a reference from that paper. Do I write it in the search strategy as a reference of the other paper?
Oh, okay. So yes, let me tell her, let me talk about that. So let's say you find another, she liked a paper from the references. It's great that she mentioned that. I didn't even mention that yet. So you've got papers from your search strategy, but you should also go into the references of each paper to look for other papers because they're going to cite papers that were previous to the same topic that are relevant. And that's definitely going to help you. If you want to use a paper that you found a different way, um, you can add that in the search strategy column. You can say found and references or in reference with one, like the search strategy one. It just helps you because you're going to read a lot of papers or you're going to skim them and it's you want to remember them. You don't want to waste your time. So this is a record. This is your journal. So very good. So that's the way to do it. Also remember, I mentioned to you, if you can find a systematic review of your research topic or something similar, that's also going to be helpful to find all previous relevant papers. And they might have a bibliography or a reference, a set of references that are, 30, 50, 100 references. So that could be helpful too. Any other questions? The other thing I mentioned to you was to do a forward search with the citing articles, right? There's another way to find papers. I just tried to make this assignment for the 10 papers simple so you could finish the assignment, but then after you do this, you're going to develop it on your own. And however you find the papers, just keep a record of where you got it from for your, um, for your literature review, because you're going to explain, I use this search strategy and I kept these papers because 1, 2, 3, 4, and I excluded 20 papers because they were not relevant or they didn't use regression or something like that. Okay. Remember, we're always crossing this with the methodology of regression. Okay, other questions? There's also other ways to, I'm going to make a note. Like, let's just finish this assignment and then I'll go into, other ways to do things. There's always multiple ways to do things, but I'm just going to limit it to this so we can get it done. Let me make a note, sorry. So if some of you want to do research on Puerto Rico or um, on Spain or because you have a second language, that's a good thing. I'm forcing you to do this in English right now, just because, um, just to let you know, some of the most impactful papers happen to be in English, right? So business is, the language of business is English right now. And so we're going to leverage that. We're going to use that to our to its greatest potential. But then if you want to research in Puerto Rico or something about Latin America, you might go into other databases, or you might look at different ways to qualify the journal because, in fact, the ABDC journals are all English, right? So I'm going to show you how to do that. I can try maybe tomorrow or next week if you want to do something, you want to include other papers. You're still going to write your paper in English, but, and that's not so hard. If you need to write it in Spanish and translate, you can do that now. It's not so hard at all with the tools that we have available to us. But searching for papers in Spanish, or particularly in Puerto Rico that are written in Spanish, might also be helpful for you for references. And I don't want to restrict you from that, so we can talk about that next class. All right, so we're going to talk about regression today. I'm going to start, I think I'm debating where to start with the exercise or some. Okay, let me think. Let me see what I have here. I opened some things. I had it, and now where did it go? Where did it go? Okay, I think it's here. I think it'll be easier to go just into my Excel exercise first, and then we'll go back into economics. Okay, what I'm going to do is share this file with you. I'll just send it to you guys, and then I'm going to post it onto the platform later, and others can look at it. And this data set was developed and studied by a podcaster, Z Statistics, I think he's called, and he does some really nice regression videos. So after we do this, you guys can go back and watch those or watch these that we did together, or these examples that we do together. It's all based on the same data set. So let me send that to you. I probably should have paused the video. So we have here today Merali, Francis, Natalia, Andrea, Noelia, and Robert. Who else did I miss?
Jared.
Jared, and anyone else?
Valeria.
Oh, Valeria. Yes, I saw you. Okay, so 8 of you and me, 9. Okay.
Professor?
Yes.
Francis, I was sorry about.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, sorry, I left the computer for a minute.
I got you. I got you. All right, so
Thanks.
I'm sending it. So we're spending the first 2 weeks or the first few days, I think 5 classes we've had, discussing, like giving you the tools, right? Putting us on the level playing field with regression, kind of research skills, and then we're going to refine that over the next few weeks. Plus, we're going to talk about the finance discipline and areas of research more in detail. But I need to review regression with you and interpretation of regression results. So where are you? Here. I'm going to share. So you opened it? So in this corner in B2, let's freeze the pane so we can still see the column labels and the numbering. I guess we don't really need car ID, but let's put it there. So I'm going to freeze panes so I can look like this, because what's going to happen is I'm going to create more columns. We're going to code, right? We're going to recode some of these for our analysis. So what you have here are the sales price of second-hand cars, or cars that have been used cars, that's the word. So these are the going price of used cars, and here are some characteristics of those used cars. You know what the odometer is? That tells you the mileage, or sorry, how many miles the car has gone. And this tells you the age of the car. This one tells you, oh my goodness, I can't remember, and whether it can be sold or not, the chance that it's going to be sold. And the first thing, I'll have to look at that again. The first thing is, let's find out if there's a relationship between the price and the usage of the car. All right. So how much it's been used in terms of miles driven. I have to verify if these are miles or kilometers, but anyway. So how would we do that? What would be the independent variable and what would be the dependent variable, and what kind of theory are we using to test this relationship? What would you say? You guys can put it in the chat. What would be the independent and what would be the dependent? Raul's here. Raul just jumped in. Okay, Raul, I have to send you the data set. Okay, I sent you the data set, Raul. All right, so you guys are good, right? So you have, okay, so Raul said age. He mentioned age as the independent. And and that definitely does influence the price in a very interesting way that we're going to see. But definitely the use of the car will affect the price. That's a sure thing. So let's start with that, and then we're going to talk about how do we interpret age. So what is the idea, right? So the more you use it, because the theory is, I don't call it a theory, but fact, or it's not just a I don't know what to call it. So with theory in academia, right, we have an idea of relationships, and we test those ideas, we make hypotheses, and then we test using data to validate, verify if that relationship exists. And if we do that over several years with several different kinds of data sets to show the same thing, we might just have a theory on our hands. We'll call it a theory, right? So anyway, the idea, the notion is the more you use something, the less the wear and tear will depreciate the value of the car. All right, so let's see. Why don't you guys test that just using odometer and price. I'm going to give you a second to see if you know how to do that in Excel, if you guys can figure it out yourself, and then I'm going to show you how to do it. All right. And I'll have to link you to those. So let me know in the chat if you got something, if you're done, if you have something. Okay, let's see. Anybody get anything? Oh, Raul's taking a break. Okay, let me give you a few more minutes. I will give you guys can search all the ways you can do this. I will give you 10 minutes, okay? So at 7:45, we're going to come back here. You guys are going to show me, or we're going to talk. I'm going to pause the video, and you're going to show me what you got. Okay, let's see how you do it, and then I'm going to show you the way I recommend that you do this. Okay, so we're doing a relation. We're getting a regression between odometer and price. Price is the dependent or y-axis of the relationship, and odometer is the driving or influencing variable, independent variable. X, explanatory variable. It's all the way to say the same thing. Okay, so 7:45. I'm going to pause the video. All right, so what we're going to do first is the analysis, the simple regression is analysis. One independent predicting the dependent. And then we're going to go to multiple variable analysis, and we're going to defend at each stage why we're doing that, okay? So first of all, let's just do this to start, and I'm going to show you we have to add a data pack to this, a data analysis application to your Excel if you don't have it. So for this, everybody should be able to do this. I'm going to ask, I think you should be able to highlight from price up here, B1, with the label on it, or the heading, or what do you call it? Heading, right? They call it a heading. All the way down to the bottom, and there's probably a quick way to do that I forgot. Hold down Shift and touch the last value here, 7.656. And this could be kilometers probably, because the data comes from a New Zealand based statistician, so it might be kilometers, but we can just refer to it as units of odometer in our interpretation. Okay, everybody's got that. And then I'm going to go to Insert and Chart XY, and you guys can let me know if you did that or not. So I'm going to chart it first. Always, with statistics, always graph your data first before you proceed, okay? And it shows this sort of relationship. Okay, let me know if you're done. I just need to follow along that you got it. So should I do it again? Did you get it? Put it in the chat because I can see you, but I can't all see you with my eyes at the same time. So, okay, you shared, got it. Okay, so you didn't get the regression though. You just got the scatter plot. Okay, so this is the scatter plot. And how do you comment on the scatter plot? What would you comment? What does it look like? In particular, is it linear? Is this a linear relationship? If you were to, let's see if we can make it bigger. I could see that a little bit more. Is this a linear relationship? Write it in the chat. Just write linear or not linear or anything else. Not linear, right? It's not a line. It's actually curvy. It looks curvy. Now, okay, so you told me about the shape. Tell me about the trend. What is the trend? Is there a trend here? Or the axis flipped? Let me see. X, Y. Should I do it the other way? Thank you, Raul. Okay, let's do this again. Let's do it. So if I do it like that, I have to put X, I have to put it in alphabetical order. So let me reverse, let me insert and put this here. So if I do it the way I just did it, I have to put it in alphabetical order for it to pick it up. So I'm going to do X. This should work. The other way is to insert it. Oops. So I go on odometer, shift, hold it down and go like this. Insert. I think I closed the other one. Anyway, I'll close that. So insert chart XY scatter, and that has the odometer reading on the X and the price on the Y. And you can put the labels in, you can play with that sort of thing. If you double click, you get some options here. And I don't know why it's using, anyway, it's not beautiful. But you can double click in here and change it. So what would the title of this be? It would be price versus odometer reading. You can put the units. This is dollars. And this one is kilometers. Okay, so you get a heading out of it. Let me see if you guys can see everything I'm doing. Because sometimes we get blocked. All right. Everybody's there. So we have this drawing. We might want to put it somewhere. You can open another tab and you can put your output in there. That's what we'll do. So I'm going to put, and you can ask, well, anyway, when we get there, I'm going to put this in a different tab here and call this model 0 because it's actually as a preliminary thing. I'll call this model 0. Okay, and some we can make some comments on it. Below. Going to highlight some cells and just merge them. Merge. Okay. So comments. So non-linear and the trend. Okay, so what did you guys say about the trend? Oh, you didn't tell me. So what's the trend? What do I mean trend? Is it a positive or negative relationship? Is it a positive or negative relationship? Let's move this down. As the x variable odometer, so it's always when we write a title, it's always y versus x. Okay, so this is our y. Let me put y here instead of y versus x. Because you're regressing y on x. X is the explanatory variable. So what are you telling me here in Zoom? You guys didn't tell me anything. What is it, a positive or negative relationship? As one variable increases, what does the other one do? Does it do the same? Does it mimic? Or does it do the opposite? As x goes up, what does y do? It doesn't look very strong, but it looks like as we're going here, so when I go from here to here, or you see it more clear here, it's what? What do you see? I need you to see it. I need you to see it. Nobody, you guys. It's a negative relationship. Negative because as x increases, y decreases. Very good. So we see a negative relationship. And it means the more mileage or more miles on the car or kilometers on the car, the lower the price, right? But it's not a line, it's curvy. So how are we going to deal with this situation? And are there other variables? There's other variables there because what if I never really used the car, but it's old? Age has something to do with this. What if I use the car a lot, but it's young, right? And then something else is happening too. What if if you guys have ever seen, actually there was a classic car show in in the stadium, what's it called? The Benthorn Stadium. What about classic cars? What's the relationship with classic cars? Do we care about the mileage for the price? If a car is older than 60, 70 years, it has value too, no matter what the odometer, or it's less important the odometer and what it says. Okay, so there's other variables that's driving this relationship. But first, before we go there, let's try and get some results out of this with just the two variables. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask for from here, I think from here we can do it. So highlight so double click on the chart. Double click on the chart and you see in the upper left corner, I don't know if you can see it on the Zoom for whatever reason, but it says add chart element. Do you see that? In the upper left corner. Add chart element. Mine's flashing. I don't know why it's flashing. Add chart element. There we go. And it says trend line. You see that? And then let's try linear first. And it shoves a line on there. It puts a line, it forces a line through the points. And remember, what do we know about this line? This line is closest to all of the points. So it's sitting in a way that all of the values below the line have a distance from the line equal to the values above the line. It sits in a way so that the residual values from its line are the same when you add them all up as the ones below the line. Okay, now that's not necessarily the best way to fit it when it's not linear, but that's our result. Now let's say, so everybody's got that? Everyone did a trend line? Let me see the chat. Tell me if you didn't. And then what we want is go back to chart elements and, oh no, sorry, go to the right side where they have information here. And you can ask for it to show your regression. So here on the third one with the histogram or the bar chart, on the very bottom, you say display equation and display R square. I can't make it bigger. It's very small, but it's here. I'm going to take it out so I can make it bigger. Oops. Oh. Yeah, I'm just going to do this so you can see it. Oh, won't let me make it bigger. Okay, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to put it in Word. All right. So there you go. Okay. If we fit this line to the dots, to the scatter plot, this is what we get. Alternatively, we could fit a curve to the line. Let's see if we can do that. Let's try the same thing. I'm gonna I'm going to highlight the chart. I'm going to put this aside. That's the results of the simple linear regression to that data. We get this equation. Let's interpret the equation first, and then we'll go to the curve. What does the equation say? Can anybody tell me the interpretation of this equation? Put it in the chat. Interpret the equation. Okay, so Raul says that the price goes down 18 bucks per mile. Uh-huh. Okay, let's see if I think it's kilometers, like I said, but so you look at the sign and you look at the magnitude, right? So we interpret both, like you said. So as x goes up, and x was odometer reading, so per unit of odometer, miles or kilometers, the price, which is the y, goes down, that's a negative, by $18.50. Does everybody see that? What is this number for? What is this? What do we call this number? That's the y-intercept. When x is 0, when there it's not, so you just have a car, it's a used car, but it has no odometer reading. It's telling you on average across all the cars looked at, because there were, over 100 cars looked at here. On average, what was the price with no odometer reading, with nothing on the odometer? So it was a used car, but it was never used. Okay? It's predicting that the price is $6,000 on the cars that were looked at. Or not predicting, but it's estimating the average if X was 0. And what is this number, R squared? What does that tell you? So we're doing the interpretation of this simple linear regression. Nobody knows? You interpret r squared. So r is between -1 and 1. But if you square that, we refer to this as the, let me make sure, hold on. Yeah, we call it the coefficient of determination. So r squared is known as, I'll put it in the chat, the coefficient of determination. R squared, which is literally the r to the power of 2. And remember, r tells you the strength and direction of a linear relationship between two quantitative variables. These variables are both quantitative, so we can make an r between them, but we already saw the relationship wasn't linear, so this line is not a good fit. If you take the square root of r, what do you get? Take the square root of r. Usually we use the small r, not the big R. Okay, so let's interpret that. So what does it mean? Is 0.02 good, or 0.2? So take the square root of r squared. What do you get? Raul got, I gotta double check here, 0.0775 square, oops, square root is 0.278. So how do we interpret that? So 0.278 is r. So 0.278 is r, which is between -1 and 1 usually. So it's really close to 0. Demonstrating, yes, there is no linear relationship. In fact, we saw that already with the, it's closer to 0, right? It's close to 0. This is enough to say that there's no linear relationship. Sometimes you got to be careful because even though there's no linear relationship, you might get an r of 0. In this case, you don't, but so with the drawing, we shouldn't have done a linear regression, but I just wanted to go through the steps of the interpretation and everything. So r is interpreted like that. R square is interpreted as a percentage. The percentage of variation in the y variable that is explained by x. Natalia, tell me, what is the percentage of variation in y that is explained by x? It's r squared, right? So what's r squared? It's 7.75%. Is that good? Is 7.75% strong or weak prediction? Natalia. No, 7.75% is weak, it's low, right? So R square is between 0 and 100%, 0% and 100%. And we got a low one. If you got 7.75% on your test, you wouldn't be happy. That's low. Okay, so it's a low R square. The R is close to 0, and none of that is good. So what we're going to do is do another regression, and then we're going to set it up to talk about so I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to go back to the trend line. I'm going to highlight my thing and go to the trend line and ask instead for, we can try exponential. And see if that's any better. I need to erase the other one though. Let me go back. I'm going to go back and back. All right, so here at this point, oh, it erased everything. Oh well, it's okay. So I'm going to highlight the chart and hit trend line exponential, and it does this. And I can ask again for the no, I gotta touch the line or something, the curve, double click and ask for, okay, exponential, okay. So I can do the exponential, there's a logarithmic, and I can ask to display the results. So, wow, it's still pretty bad. So that's still pretty bad, right? It says, let's see if I can make this big. So if we do this model, R squared goes up a little bit, it's 9%, it's still low. So we can try a few different ones, but we're going to find that a few different kinds of curves to fit it to. So you can fit it to a line, you can fit it to a curve. Again, back to the histogrammy thing here. We can try logarithmic, which is my choice, and display. Ah, there we go. Aha, so logarithmic is better, but it's still 16% of the variation is y is explained by x. So it doesn't look like we can do too great on this, right? So we got 16% the fit quality here. So we call that the fit. So what we have to do at this point, we got to consider there's other variables that explain this relationship. What's happening is remembering that we're trying to fit it in between these points, and the residual, like being off, not being able to match the line to the points, is well, it's being affected by, it's like other variables could explain that, right? So there's other variables that could do a better job together with odometer, because it does have predictive power, there is some sort of thing to understand about odometer, but there's other variables that we could be using. Now, to do a multiple regression, adding more variables in, we need to set up our Excel to do that. So going back to looking at your menu options here, at the top under tools, is it under tools? Okay, mine's going to be different than yours because I already have it, but hit Excel add-ins under tools. And you should pick the analysis tool pack and solver add-in. Let me know if you cannot do that. Let me know if you cannot do that. So you're going to go under under tools, Excel add-ins, and then you pick analysis toolpack and solver add-in, and you say okay. What happens next? Because I already have it, so tell me what happens next. It should be able to install it, and then what you'll have here is and there should be an analyze data icon. So that so if I pick more than 2 variables, like I'm going to pick 3, I'm going to use odometer. So I'm going to use, so I want to do odometer price and age. And now I hit data. No, where did it go? Data analysis under tools. Under tools, I hit data analysis and it gives me an option for regression. And then I can set up the regression. That's where I want you guys to get. Okay, let me know if you can't do that. If you can do that, we're going to talk about this some more tomorrow. But for now, you guys are going to continue with your Excel table, right? You're going to work on that. Tomorrow we're going to talk more about regression. I just want to make sure that everybody has the tool pack installed. If you have it done and the class is over, you guys can get going. Anyone who hasn't figured it out, stay on to do that. Solver add-in analysis tool pack. Yeah. Row. Okay, so you guys can get going if you've done it already. If you need help, share your screen and we can do it together. Find articles and how to do the assignment. So the last 2 days were all about that assignment that's due tomorrow.
Okay.
But let me
Got
know
it.
if you have any questions. You're going to be fine. Just watch it on fast speed and use the timestamps too. I put the timestamps.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to put up the link for the videos that explain this data too, if you want to get going on this.
Okay.
Okay.
Is this gonna be assignment too?
No. This is just to teach you guys regression in Excel so you guys can understand it. Yeah, it's just to
Okay.
review regression and multiple regression analysis and logarithmic regression. It's like an overview of regression.
Okay, got it.
It's not going to be an assignment. I should, but it's okay. We have other things to do. Okay. So just work
Alright,
on
I'll
the one
get
for
going.
Friday. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. Bye.
We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye bye.